Here's an overview of the first day placement test. The test takes 12 minutes to give, 10 minutes to grade, and it's more accurate than the 3.5-hour American SAT test. Teachers just push play. This is not a high-stakes test. No mother is going to sue you because her child did not get into Harvard. This test will quickly give the English ability of your students. Because ultimately, how can you improve their ability if you don't know their ability? For a small class, you can grade the test with the punched out answer key. For several classes, you can use the Google quiz to grade the test. Students enter their answers on their phones. If you are familiar with Google tests, you can make a copy of my test and use it. If not, you can use my test and I will send you the results. The test measures familiarity with English, exposure to English. It is based on this observation. People who are good at the sounds of English are good in English. People who are good at English prepositions are good in English. Part 1 is the sounds of English. Part 2 is the prepositions. The sounds that non-native speakers have trouble with are light, right, white, night, bat, bet, bit, beat, bad, pad, fad, vad, zoo, Jew, shoe, chew, this, dis, tis. The prepositions and duration they have trouble with are at, in, on, for, since, during, until. The questions are short and simple. I know what items low-level students will have trouble with, and I use them. This test separates students by ability, quickly. For example, many students will guess second grade here. Many students say, it's hard to me. Many students think yesterday night is correct. And many students will say, join in a club. In part 1, students scratch out the word they hear. For example, van, fed, Perry, bile. The placement test gives their ability. Here is their English ability, and I have not even spoken to them. The test also gives their first conversation test partners. Here, the top 3 scores on the test will be partners on the first conversation test. The bottom 3 students will also be partners on the conversation test. This enables fair conversation testing. As you can see, by giving students partners of similar ability, the test will be very fair and very accurate. Therefore, on the first day of class, I know their speaking ability, pronunciation problems, preposition problems, and their first conversation test partners. That's a pretty good use of 20 minutes. From last semester, here are the scores of all 4 of my classes. The scores range about 45 points. I didn't speak to anybody, and I know their ability. I also know their first conversation test partners. So by the end of the first week, I know all their ability, their test partners in time, and I have not spoken to a single student. This test measures ability. Every student at my university scored in the top 15% of the country on the university entrance exam. Therefore, the grade spread here should be about 20 points. However, the grade spread averages about 40 points. Why? Because the university entrance exam measured their English language knowledge. This test measures their English ability. A quick word about accuracy. A test with perfect accuracy has a score of 1.0. The American SAT test takes 3.5 hours and is about 0.53 accurate. This test takes 11 minutes and is usually about 6.3 accurate. Google test details. Giving the Google test. First, students mark their answers on the sheet. This takes about 12 minutes. Second, they grab their phones and enter their answers on the phones. This takes about 5 minutes. Before the test, I sent them an email with the link. Students simply go to the link or use the link on the bottom of the test sheet. If you have only one class, you can set Google to immediately show students their scores and which ones they got right and wrong. If you have several classes, you can set Google to not show their scores. You can do the test without paper. However, I much prefer to use the paper. A, we have a visible record of what they got right and wrong. B, a student not good at tech might wrongly enter many answers. Here is what the website looks like when they go to enter their scores. Here is what I see when I go to the website after the test. Here are the results of 110 students. I can quickly see I've got 3 students who are measurably better than the rest, and I've got 3 students who are measurably not as good. Here is an example of some diagnostics you can get from the test. It shows you what percent got the answer wrong and how many and what items they guessed wrong. Here's another one. It shows here many of students will choose during 2 hours. Also, do you belong to a club? Join in a club. It shows how many got the answer right and how many got it wrong. The placement test changes everything. On day 1, I know their ability, and I know that their speaking will improve at least 50%. I know this because they are beginning speakers who always improve, and this improvement has happened every semester for the past 15 years. The placement test enables me to step aside and let them speak. After day 1, my job is done. My task during the semester is to give them A, the widest possible variety of partners in class, and B, partners of similar ability on the test. That's a pretty good use of 20 minutes.